Hi guys, this is Tortellini with contributing for Definitive Esport. I'm here with Ostojiy of its GoSu, winner of the CSL Canada, as well as runner-up for WCS, losing to Scarlett. Um, coming into this bracket, you had to take on some extraordinary opponents, and then you had lost to Scarlett in the winners bracket. Losers bracket, you came on back again, took out some major opponents, and then you versed Scarlett again. What happened during the finals?
Yeah, my ZVZ is my strongest matchup, as a lot of people probably know, and going into it, I usually feel confident. But I play Scarlett a lot on ladder. She knows my style pretty well. I know her style very well, and I did what I usually do on ladder, which has generally had good success, which is just a bust, roachling, baneling, before she gets infestors out, because she always goes zergling infester with spinecrawler defense. And she played a little bit more safe today. Didn't make very many mistakes. I made quite a few, and I just missed my timings, and unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to come through today. And I only took one game out of 4. So in ZVZ, for me, that's a big disappointment versus any player in the world.
All right. You'll be going on to the North American Championships, however you qualify for that. In terms of ZVZ strategy in general, if you could give sort of an output or your view on it, I mean, you are the ZVZ sniper according to a lot of people I've asked. I think so personally. I mean, I might have quite the credibility nonetheless. So in ZVZ in general, how would you generally summarize that?
Well, the key is just to scout a lot, know what your opponent's doing, and don't let them know what you're doing, because a lot of it is catching your opponent off guard and uh, having a lot of tricks up your sleeve. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a coin flip matchup. It's about outsmarting and outthinking your opponent a lot. So I think that's the most important part, is just being really intelligent and having solid mechanics. But mechanics are not as important as other matchups.
Thanks. For, there's a lot of players now switching over to Zerg. There seems to be a growing majority here of Zerg players, so you're now becoming quite an essential component for its GoSu in a lot of leagues and such. In terms of team dynamic, you're comfortable with all the players, I assume, and you had two major series to play here. You had to play CSL Canada, of course. Congratulations on that, and WCS. How did you exactly prepare for it? Interact, practice.
Well, CSL is best of one, so and you don't know who you're playing, you don't know what map you're on, so it's almost impossible to prepare. So I just figured if I go into this tournament in really good shape, then I should be confident. And WCS, obviously, ladder map pool. I played quite a bit of ladder. I play ladder anyways, and I practiced with some of my teammates, some of my good friends. Obviously, a lot of ZVZ, because I knew this tournament was stacked with Zergs, 16 out of 32 players in Canadian WCS were Zergs, and a lot of the stronger players, so Scarlett, Slush, Jayco, Kane, myself. So there were a lot of strong Zergs in the tournament, and I know I was focusing on ZVZ, and unfortunately, that was the only matchup I lost. I lost to Scarlett in the winners bracket, and I lost to Scarlett in the losers bracket, which for me is a little bit shocking. My ZVP was my worst matchup, and I beat a lot of pro DOSes. Huck, or not Huck. I didn't want to play Huck. TT1, Didoro, Atero, and Energy Diamond, like round 1 or something. And luckily for me, Huck got knocked out by Scarlett, and that was really what I was banking on, because we were in the same bracket, me, Scarlett, and Huck, and I think a lot of people saw that as the toughest bracket. I certainly did. And I was really banking on Scarlett beating Huck out, but Scarlett ended up being, I think, just as tough an opponent for me.
The true beauty of your story, being a runner-up in WCS and as well as doing CSL Canada, you are doing, I assume, school, university, as well as playing this game. And a lot of people, including Day9, have told me how great you are and, how amazing you could be. And it's really the beauty about how you're able to juggle both school and playing and professionally playing. Do you have any comments on that, sort of how you managed to do both at the same time?
Well, I joke about it a lot. I say StarCraft 2 is a really easy game, and I guess compared to Brood War, easy is in a different sense. Maybe it's not, it's played differently. Brood War was very mechanical. You had to practice 12 hours a day. I did play Brood War. I wasn't great because, I didn't have the time, and very few foreigners had the time. And I think with StarCraft 2, it's a little bit more about being intelligent. I think the mechanics are easier. I think everyone would agree with that. So you don't need to practice as much, and I think that plays a lot into it. I do practice quite a bit. I mean, I couldn't say otherwise, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't practice. But thankfully for me, I'm able to play a game where I'm able to actually do both. I can focus on my school and come out to a tournament like this and do really well. So I'm happy with my performance here, but hopefully I'll be able to do better next time.
Just two final questions, really. My two final questions would be, who, there's a lot of players out there who are absolutely extraordinary. Don Gu, Hero, as well as maybe Alicia now playing in the finals. Who do you exactly look up to in terms of play style or even personality or players in general?
Personality, I don't really look up to players. I try and make my own way. I think a lot of people say me and Greg Idra Fields have a very similar personality, but he's a little bit more nonchalant than I am. I look up to a lot of players. Stefano, I love a lot of his style, and I do watch his games. Scarlett has amazing ZVP, and I was even joking about it in one of the games. I was like, give me a replay pack, but I wasn't joking. I do respect her style a lot. So there's a ton of Zergs out there that I look up to and I try and learn from, and I try and improve off learning off of other players.
Just one final question. Do you have a prediction for the finals of NASL?
I think Stefano's going to win it 4-1. Right. Or is it best of 9 or best of 7? If it's a best of 7, 4-1. If it's a 5-2, if it's a best of 9. But he's really strong, and Alicia beat Rhett, and Rhett's no easy task. But I think MC's a little bit tougher, and Stefano did beat MC, so he's definitely going to be the heavy favorite going into this.
All right, thanks a lot. This is Michael Cohen, Tortellini for Definitive Esport. It's GoSu.Ostojiy, excuse me. Do you have any shout-outs to make?
Yeah, shout out to my CSL team, all the guys at Western, and of course our sponsors. It's GoSu sponsors NOS, Razer, Max Integration, and Own3.